Wake up, black people. This is not a song. This is a warning. This is for every black mother who buried a child. Every black child who never got the chance to become great. Every elder who remembers when the community stood together. And above all, this is dedicated to the black woman. The first teacher, the first nurturer, the first protector, the foundation of the family. Without a sacrifice, without a strength, without a love, yeah, many of us wouldn't be here today. Wake up, black people. Wake up, black people. Wake up, black people, look around and see the war ain't overseas, it's right in our streets. Young kings killing kings before they 23. Then another mother crying on the evening news feed. Another little baby growing up without a dad. Another young sister carrying trauma from the past. Another grandmother praying while she holding back tears, watching violence multiply year after year. We scream for justice when the world does us wrong, but how we gonna rise if we destroy our own? Every funeral, another dream laid to rest. Every casket, another wound in the community's chest. The ancestors didn't survive for us to die like this. Didn't fight through oppression for us to live like this. Somewhere we lost the code, somewhere we lost the way. And if we don't change now, what future can we save? Wake up, black people.
To get out, if you ask me, wake up, black people. This is Under the Groove Podcast. Welcome, everybody. Here I am, and there you are. It's always an honor to be here, no matter what the day has held. You know, for any of us, man, to be in this space at this moment in time, I think is a great, great occasion. So, hey, welcome, everybody. Peace and prosperity, each and every one of you, especially to the RGC. All love, man. All love. That's what's up. Let's get this thing up and running like we do. All right. I got something I want to drop, man. The song is significant. Someone told me today that should be at this juncture, at this stage, in terms of what we see occurring with us as a people and in these communities. Because let's be quite frank, there is a shift occurring. There is something taking place. Something is happening, right? So I was told, said, man, Wake Up Black People should be the intro. You shouldn't switch it out right now. Let that thing run, intro and outro, till such a time that, when we see, this shift more readily, when we are able to observe it, just more persistently, then that's when we come with another, or you should come with another intro, outro. And I kind of agree. I miss hearing Wake Up Black People. I think it's strong. And that's why I played it today. Not only that, but I went and found a clip on Instagram. I think it was TikTok, kind of strong as well, relating to what we just heard, Wake Up Black People. And again, that's from the loved one, man. That's from the loved one, Lamar Harris, 1972. That's bro, man. He did the damn thing. We'll appreciate him for it. Real spit. Let me see something. Make sure I got that all correct, because he deserved props, ultimate props for this thing right here, y'all. And he goes by the name of Conscious Mind. So let's get that right as well. Conscious Mind, man, is the brother who created this piece right here. And always a shout out to you, bro. You know you are. Y'all need to check him out. I think it's at Conscious Mind, or let me make sure I get all that right, because we want to make sure he get his props for this. Get am. All right. Well, I'll go in there and get that. I'll go in there and get that information. In any respect, man, it's good to be here. Come on in here, y'all. Let's do what we do. We got a couple of minutes late start, but it's okay. We up and running. I want to drop this clip. like I said, I think it's relevant. Oh, let me grab this too. And while we trying to wait on these numbers to get right, we don't want nobody to miss nothing. Let's be 100 about that. Okay. Hold on. Let me drop this. Let me stop you. 1 second, everybody. And that is... Okay. Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, hold on. My bad. Hold on, everybody. Brothers need us now. Let's see if there's him. Okay, found him. Oh, he got some shit. Got him. All right. We're going to move that over. We got to wake the hell up. All right. All right. There we go. Oh, shit. All right. What's the problem? What's the problem? So, yeah, man, that's what it is, man. We need to get to that point, man, where we're awake every day. And I mean literally, not just figuratively, but literally awake, mindful of what the hell is going on around us. I think only then, because of that, and only because of that, we're able to ascertain what the hell is going on around us. You know what I mean? We'll be able to focus on those issues that really affect us most. For the most part, man, most of us are unaware of what's actually happening around us and to us by the powers that be. You know what I'm saying? Real spit. But let me get out of that and let me get in this. I want to give y'all something else. Right quick. Tell me what you think about this. Is that Instagram? No, I don't want that one. Oh shit. Where is it? There we go. I found this interesting. Let's see what this do for any of you.
Disclaimer. To protect my account, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm only a storyteller. The ancestors are speaking. Can you feel it? Something is shifting in the spiritual realm. A great awakening is happening across the globe. Black people everywhere are waking up from the amnesia they forced upon us. You're questioning everything now. The history they taught you feels wrong. The limitations they placed on you feel too small. The narratives they created are crumbling before your eyes. That's not coincidence. That's divine timing. Your ancestors prophesied this moment. They said a generation would come that would remember what they knew, that would break the chains of mental slavery, that would reclaim stolen truth and rise into power. That generation is you. Look around you. People are researching their true history, learning about Mansa Musa, the Moors, Black Wall Street, ancient African greatness. The lies are being exposed faster than they can cover them. Social media gave us what they tried to prevent, access to information they couldn't control. Now truth spreads like wildfire. One person learns, shares it, wakes up 10 more. Those 10 wake up 100. The awakening is exponential. They're scared. You can see it in how hard they're trying to ban books, control curriculum, silence voices. They know once you remember who you are, their power over you ends. The shift is happening in your spirit too. You're setting boundaries you never set before, choosing peace over chaos, demanding respect you used to beg for, walking away from what no longer serves you. You're stepping into your power, your purpose, your calling. And nothing can stop what the ancestors have set in motion. This is the beginning of our liberation, not just physical, but mental and spiritual. We're breaking generational curses, healing ancestral wounds, reclaiming stolen identities. The shift is here. The awakening is now. And you, beloved, are part of the prophesied generation. Press the plus sign to join the awakening. Hit follow to stay woke. Comment, I'm awake, to declare your shift. Share to wake up your people. Complete all 4 and watch your ancestors accelerate your awakening. They tried to make you forget the awakening was coming, but I am here to help you remember. Disclaimer.
Right. I thought that was interesting, to tell you the truth. I really did. And again, it went well with our theme, our intro and outro song, Wake Up Black People. There is a shift occurring, man. And like I said, man, for us to really grasp or comprehend that, we have to start focusing on what's going on with ourselves as much as what's going on around us, man. A lot is happening. Again, we said this yesterday. It was spoken on yesterday. It's happening to keep us distracted. And you don't believe that that's the case, you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. Just, I can't put it any plainer. All right. Real spit. All right. Right quick. I got one more thing. I don't know if y'all gonna like this. When I heard it initially, I was like, I ain't feeling that. But then I listened to the lyrics of it, what was being said, and I got it, and I just, the initial part of it, I didn't like, but I'm telling you, I listened long enough to get it, and I like to think that some of you will get it as well. So I'm going to bring that up also. Let y'all get a bar of this, man. Well, that's that. Hold on. Yeah. I don't know. I just found it very, very interesting. And I hope y'all do as well, man. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. So let me hit y'all with this right quick. And tell me what you think, man. That's all I can ask you to do. All right. Now make sure I get the right one. Okay, I'm pretty sure that I did. Okay, got it. All right. And I'm hoping this is the whole get down. All right, so y'all check this out. I don't know, man. Initially, I found it kind of jacked, but then again, like I said, I listened to the lyrics. I'm hoping y'all do as well. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think, man. I'm going out on a limb here, y'all. All right, here we go. Uh-oh, hold on.
It's all in me. I'm every nigga. It's all in me. I'm every nigga. It's all in me. Still a nigga when you try to give him grace. Don't know why you even bother saving face. You can switch codes and change your clothes. New suit, new tie, won't fix your woes. Still a nigga when the casket closed. Still a nigga if you're young or old. You're still a nigga, you're still a nigga. I hate to say it, but the truth is golden. New money don't make it go away. You can act funny, but they show you to your place. Jay said it, you still don't get it. Jay said it, you still don't get it. You can be from the motherland, or you can be from some other land. It don't matter when you understand. You're still a nigga, you're still a nigga. I wanna be black in every lifetime. I wanna be black in every lifetime. May not be easy, but if I'm still breathing, I wanna be black in every lifetime. Still a nigga keeping me raised. Little nigga when the casket closed. Little nigga in the younger old. You're still a nigga, you're still a nigga. I hate to say it, but the truth is golden. New money don't make it go away. You can act funny, but they show you to your place. Jay said you still don't get it. Jay said you still don't get it. You can be from the motherland, or you can be from some other land. It don't matter if you understand. You still a nigga, you're still a nigga. I wanna be black in every lifetime. I wanna be black in every lifetime. May not be easy, but if I'm still breathing, I wanna be black in every lifetime.
Oh man, I don't know what y'all think about that, but I got to say I thought that was fire. I think that's fire, man. See, I want to be black in every lifetime. May not be easy. That's what I choose, though. And for those who think they anything but what they say we are, that's what you're going to be as long as they say that. You know what I mean? You might not think it, you might not feel it, or, go about it that way, but that's what they say you are. How much money you got, man, don't matter. How many touchdowns you make, how many buckets you score, how many Oscars you win, none of that matters to them. You still going to be a ninja. You trying to pacify, placate, appease them, even assimilate. It ain't going to change. None of that, and you still going to be black. I don't know. I just thought that was fire, man. Appreciate that piece right there. Now, to follow that, I'm going to get to these comments in a hot second, y'all. I got this one piece, one left. Got one left. And I find this interesting. More than anything, I think you got to read it to get the gist of it, all right? All right, there you go. All right, let's bring that in right quick, and y'all tell me. There's some real shit right here. All right. When FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover was asked what his opinion was the single greatest threat to the United States of America, he responded, Negro unity. Now, if any of y'all think that that's changed over the decades, you're incorrect. You're incorrect. It still exists. That thought, that how they look at that is still prevalent, still prominent in their thoughts. The greatest threat to any of them, is our unity. They fear it. They fear it. They fear it, man. And we got to know that that's the case, man. We got to know that that's the case. And what they want to prevent is us knowing that. So again, take a moment, let that sink in. When FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover was asked what, in his opinion, was the single greatest threat to the United States of America, he responded, Negro unity, Black unity, our unity. And you got to know that's what they think to this day. They're worried about it. That's why we see a lot of what we see. All right. That being said, let me jump in here, man. Let me take first. I don't know. I might run them back, man. The Awakening, the Spiritual Awakening. I think that's the name of it. I appreciated that one, man. And then the song I Want to Be Black in Every Lifetime. It's a cold piece. I might run that back. That depends on you guys. You guys want to hear it again? I like to think no one took offense to it, because like I said, initially I did. Initially, I took offense to it, but then, like I say, I sat back and I listened and I paid attention to the lyrics and I said, oh shit, that shit tight. That shit is tight, But yeah, I want to be black every lifetime, You know, if it works like that, if it happens like that, man, please don't let me come back no other way, man. No other person but a black one. Real respect. All right, Queen and Zinga, I see you up. You up first. Front and center. Good to see you up in here, sister. Tuesday blessings. And shout out to the kings and queens in the RGC. Black First. RGC, for those of you who don't know, is what we call the Royal Group Congregation. That's this massing, this congregation of brothers and sisters, kings and queens, gods and goddesses who come together from all over, man. And this is what we do Monday through Friday, everybody. For those of you who don't know, Under the Groove podcast comes in Monday through Friday, touching bases with the people. And again, like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Keep in mind, when you come in here to hang out with us, man, we only ask one thing. That's respect. That's it. That's respect. You know, though I just played that song, Ninja, you know, you're still a ninja. You're still a ninja. You know, we don't use that. You know, and it's not by any edict I set, but you know, that's just what it is. And I appreciate knowing that that's not something we say just, you know, because we can say it. All right. And it ain't no bees here either. That's it. Let's move on, man. Appreciate you, Queen and Zinga. All love and respect, sister. All right. Chris, what it do, loved one? He say Black First. Peace, prosperity, bro. Good to see you up in here. B60, what's good, man? Greetings and salutations to you, Bub, and the RGC. B1, Black First. Appreciate your presence, man. You as well, Chris. All right, Lil Travis from Acre Homes saying, what's the deal, G? Hey, here we are. Here we are. You know, I'd like to think that what I said yesterday when you asked almost the same thing verbatim, that you recognize this when you got up, opening my eyes today, that was a grand rising, man, and you've done everything in your power, everything or anything you utilize your capabilities, your potential, man, to make this day one of the best or the best day of your life today. So that's what's happening. That's the deal, bro. Good to see you back, though, loved one. Appreciate you. All right, Antonio, what to do, man? All love and that salute. Appreciate you. Queen and Zinga said the awakening is happening. The awakening is happening. It seems like everyone I talk to is understanding the assignment. So that's who. Everybody on code? All right. All right. You know, be a proud day for each and every one of us, man. You know, if that is the case. Yeah, we should all, take some satisfaction or get some satisfaction from that fact, if that is so, or such a thing. You know, just to know or just to hear it, man, should be inspiration enough for us to want to push for that and make sure it becomes a reality. We all wake up, man, and get this thing done. I want to send a shout out to my brothers, Rat and Smiley, man. Y'all know what to do, man. All love and respect, bro. Yeah, this is an endeavor. We can pull this off, bro. It can be done. It can be done. All right. Let's make it happen, bro. And we want to send a shout out also to those we know who we talking about, you know, off that east side. Love and respect to each one of you brothers, you know, who are willing. All love and respect, bro. All right, CEO, he back. He said, yo, what's up, bub? Hey, man, Under the Groove podcast, you being present front and center with this get down, no doubt. That's what's up. You say you like the live. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate you for even putting that out there, even showing up, man. All love and respect. Appreciate you. So did you check out the, what was the first one again? It's called Divine Talks, all right? And that conversation was about us waking up. Did you check that out? If not, let me know. Again, I think I might run it back at the end when we get towards the end that y'all get a bar at that. But I thought that was hot, as well as the song. The name of the song actually is not You Still a Ninja. You know, I think I Want to Be Black in Every Lifetime. That's the name of the song. So let me know what y'all think about that, all right? Appreciate your presence, though, CEO. Need some stand-up people, man, some CEOs in this get down. Real spread. Man, that's wishful thinking, Chris. We need Beyonce singing songs like that. Man, if she ain't busy drinking, well, let me be quiet. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that, you know. Yeah, right. Okay, but I don't know, man. I don't think she woke like that. Or is awake like that. You know, I don't think that's her interest. You know what I mean? In terms of, the music she put out or the creativity. You know, if she put out something in this respect in terms of what we deal with every day, I'd be real suspect about that shit. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I wouldn't bite. I wouldn't bite, man. Shit. If she showed her ass, I wouldn't look. Something up, you know. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Her doing this type of get out, nah. That's not her. I think that, now you bringing that up, who comes to mind is Erica Badu, Jill Scott, India R. Reed. You know, I could see them doing that. You know what I mean? The sister that did it actually did a fabulous job, a fantastic job. So yeah, but Beyonce, nah, that ain't something. They not lined up like that, bro. And I'm not being biased. I just know what I know when it come to them. That ain't something they in, man. That ain't something they in. They ain't said much of anything about anything that concern any of us. If it ain't making them dollars, they ain't trying to, they leave it alone. They leave it alone. Him, her, and the baby. That's what they do. So I don't know, man. That's kind of far-fetched right there. Well, I don't know. That's asking much. That's asking for a lot to want to, have her sing that song. Oh, hell to the no. All right, Lisa Moore, how you doing, Queen? She said, Grand Rising, Brother Bub, blessings to you and the family. Blessings to the RGC family. B1 Black First, everybody. Appreciate you. All right, Darmus is back, man. Beautiful. He said, wow. Wow. All right, CEO said the FBI's national security threat is why FBA and ADOS exists. Yeah. Well, there's that. But this thing here, yeah, man, they've been the federal government. That's who it is, FBI, they've been on this about us, man, or tripping about this where we're concerned, man, for a very long time, man. Before there was even such a thing as FBA and all that, their objective has always been to make sure that does not happen. And this is why I say this, a lot of what we see taking place, man, is at the behest of or is by design. There is through their manufacturing of shit. You know what I mean? And I would say openly in conjunction with the CIA. You know what I mean? That it's all the same government. It's all the same, it's the federal government. Their objective is to make sure that does not happen. And this is why we've seen through history our individuals, man, are those we respect and would follow taken out. Because the fact of the matter is, if they would have allowed them to continue to exist, what we're living through now, there's a great probability this would not be. We would not be experiencing a lot of what we're going through. So again, when we're talking about them, man, we're talking about what lengths they'll go through or to make sure that never happens. So we're seeing this shit dropping, it's just dropping all around us, It's just falling all around. This shit that keeps us distracted, more than that, but keeps us divided. This shit is not by mistake, y'all. The shit that we know they putting in the marijuana, the young ones love to, imbibing the lean, all this shit, man, being laced now and being, spiked with all kind of shit. All this shit, man, is by design. Is being orchestrated or put into motion by them people. You know, I hate to say this, man, but I even to some extent, a lot of our people are assisting in this foolery. You know, I just have to say that, man. A lot of our brothers and sisters participate in this shit, and of course, you know, let's be 100. They need some of us to assist them in getting this shit out the way it is. Let's be 100. And that's why I say Beyonce won't be singing a song like that. not even close. She gets her, you know, her lyrics or whatever else from those, you know, those who hand them to her. You know, a lot of people want to call them ghostwriters, man. I call them the government. That's just me. I call them the government. Her lyrics and her man's lyrics too. Them ain't ghostwriters. That's the government. You know, here, man, y'all do this, you know. So, yeah, man. CEO said the FBI's national security threat is why FBA and ADOS exist. You're going to say, they want us to be divided, no doubt about that. And as long as we are, their plan continues to work for them and works against us. So, yeah, no doubt about that. That's what they look forward to. Darman said, man, we are people who didn't come here for a better life. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I got you. For those of us, you know, I don't buy the whole, you know, slave story. You know what I mean? I think there's aspects to it that are true, maybe factual. But in any respect, like you said, those who were brought here, or shipped here, didn't come for a better life. No doubt. No doubt, man. You know, let them tell it. I'm pretty sure they loved where they were. You know, to be kidnapped, held captive, and enslaved is something they didn't bargain for. I'm pretty sure of that. So appreciate that, though. Real spit right there, Darmus. Yeah, I never heard of Divine Talks either, man. That was so like I say, man, I search for the positive. You know what I mean? When I'm on here, man, I look for the positive. I look for what would resonate with us as a people. I get clips every day from loved ones, homies, you know, and they send me a lot of stuff that I wouldn't talk about, you know. I would never bring on the show, you know, on the podcast, because I think it's beneath us. You know, that's not to say I don't appreciate what the loved ones send me, because I do. It gives me an opportunity, you know, by them sending it to me, I wouldn't go look for it otherwise. You know what I mean? So by them sending it to me, then I'm brought into the know of what's out there. And a lot of this, you know, a lot of it is straight crap. And I think for the most part, when loved ones send me that stuff, they're saying, damn, Bub, look at this bullshit. You know, not saying, Bub, you need to air this to talk about this. No, this, man, look at this shit, you know. So I get it, and I appreciate them sending me. That's why to this day, I don't tell them, stop sending me that. You know what I mean? But there have been times I've gotten some real potent, positive stuff or links from them that I've actually used. So, you know, I'm waiting on my loved one Coco off that west side, man. I ain't seen him in a minute. May everything be everything with that brother. Real spit. Moves in silence, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, they didn't come here for a better life. That's the truth, Darmus. Appreciate you dropping that. And CEO, yeah, I never heard again of Divine Talk. So I already subscribed. I went and subscribed when I stumbled upon them. And I can't wait to go in there and pick that thing, you know, for a lot of its jewels and gems, and present them to each and every one of y'all if they got some good stuff for us, you know, to check out. Darman said, man, I think we as a people have to be able to deal with poverty better and not always looking for the easy way out. Like we should clown each other if they're wearing cheap shoes or clothes. Now, damn, that's so reminiscent of how it was back in the day, because that actually happened, you know. I'll be one of the first to tell you guys we were poor. We weren't born into poverty, though. I've said this many times, you know. I think circumstances led to us losing my mom and them losing the home, and all that stuff. Those good jobs they had, stuff like that. Um, the government was at work, put it like that, and as a result, by the time I was 7, I'll give it 8. I knew what being poor was. Now before that, didn't have no understanding of it. It was always something to eat. Lights were always on, gas, water, fresh clothes, for school, what I mean? Just, Wallabies, Levi, jean jacket, suits and shit for school, it was, straight up. That's what it was. And I recall, man, that around that time turning 8. And, them days was over. Holes in the tennis shoes, what I mean? Holes in the socks, what I mean? Holes in your drawers, shit. A lot of beans and rice, Yeah, I remember that shit. You know what I mean? So, for me, man, I get poverty. You know what I mean? I get it. I'm not. Let me put it you like this. I think poverty prepared my brothers and I, and even our mom, for there's nothing you could throw at us now that would mess us up. You know what I mean? Poverty prepared us, man, for hardship and adversity. That's just what it was. So yeah, I think because of that, there's a great appreciation I have just living life, man, on whatever level it be on, even if it was on that level of poverty again. I would still appreciate the fact that life is, I'm breathing. You know what I mean? But I think poverty is also that thing that sets us straight. It gives us awareness if we're paying attention. Again, that's our problem. We don't focus on what really affects us. You know what I mean? We focus on. I think more than anything else, our people, even those who are poor, not necessarily being poor or living in poverty, but trying to find ways to what we call ourselves trying to lift ourselves out of poverty. But based upon how we go about doing that, we still find ourselves in that rut. So if we're living in poverty and one of, let's say a brother, they, hit a lick for a substantial amount. A month later, situation is still the same, poverty is something that is commonplace. And I think that's because of how we deal with shit, how we view things. We think that if we got a fat Rolex link on our neck, nice, watch, whatever that link provided, nice ring, then we're not poor. I think that's how a lot of these brothers and sisters think. If they spend everything they got on making themselves look as though they're not poor, that's okay. Then they're not poor because they don't look it. When the reality is, we dirt poor. You're poor. You're living in poverty. Cinder uses a phrase, failing at, I think it's looking good at failing. I think that's the way she phrases that. Looking good failing. And there might be another part to that, but in this respect, that's what I mean by that. That's what we do. We tend to want to look good failing. We go after this. Again, these distractions are there, man, to keep us off kilter, to keep us in poverty even. They'll tell you, hey, man, go lease this car with your last dime. Go buy this big-ass link chain with your last dime. Keep fresh Jordans on your feet with your last dime. Never mind that you're poor. but look good at being poor. That's okay. If you look good at being poor, it's okay. I think that's the mindset of a lot of our people, man, and that's sad. But for us, like I said, my brothers and I, I know poverty, bro. I know poverty, and it didn't do a number on me per se. It also, I think it prepared us. Well, me, I think it prepared me, and not only that, but it also helped to develop my mindset. And even when most of the time I wasn't using it correctly, it was there. I was able to, understand a lot of shit, be involved in certain things, that would I would in my attempt to improve my station in life, those attempts didn't pan out because I was still caught in that net, man. All right. I was still caught in this mindset about poverty. The mindset, not the experience. I think those are two different things, because like I said, we are poor and yet we'll go spend money we don't have on things that does not improve our station, our lives. It's mindset, we're still poor, man. But poverty is something, man. Poverty is something. Darmus is saying, man, I think we as a people have to be able to deal with poverty better and not always looking for the easy way out. Like we should clown each other if they're wearing cheap shoes or clothes. And again, been there and done that, bro. Been there and done that, bro. I agree, though. You're going to say should not clown each other if they're wearing cheap shoes or clothes. Right. Yeah. And we called it bagging back in the day. And the worst thing for a youth in elementary school, let's say 4th, 5th, 6th grade, then junior high, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, then high school, and you poor and you getting clowned, that does a number on you. It will do a number on you, man. Trust. Yeah, man. So let's hope, man, we can do away with not just poverty, but the way we look at poverty and how we deal with it. That's I think the objective. How do we deal with poverty so that we can end it once and for all, especially for us? We've been in it long enough. We've been in it long enough. Majority of our people have been, I think it's bad now. A lot of people just don't acknowledge it. Poverty being that thing, that everybody's going through. Some of us, or maybe most of us, we just don't acknowledge it. I see it. I see it with those, close to me. I see it. Darman said, man, I think we as a people have to be able to deal. Okay, I read that. CEO says, man, yes, it is their manufacturing, but our people are just falling for it without questioning anything because they are highly emotional with the false sense of pride. All right. So they are being misled. I agree. I've said this often enough that, okay, man, at some point, when do we become accountable? When do we stop falling for the BS? At what point do we start saying, okay, man, we know this game. We know these plays out this playbook. Let's not even take the field. Let's not even participate with this shit, man. We know the outcome of this play. We're going to lose this game by 5, 6 touchdowns. We're going to lose, man. When did we become responsible or hold ourselves accountable to this BS we know that's set in front of us? When do we say, nah, we ain't gonna, I'm good? Been through that already. And if not personally, I know somebody who has, when we know they're manufacturing all this negativity, man, when do we start participating with this shit? When do we stop falling for this BS, man? What Malcolm said, being hoodwinked and bamboozled and led astray. When do we stop allowing this shit to happen? And again, at some point, you can't keep blaming them. And I say this, I think, often enough. We got to stop pointing fingers, man, and handle our business. You know, and this is where a lot of them get talking about, a lot of people talk about, oh, y'all exercising victimization. Yeah, and no. And even if that's the case, who are they? Come on, man. There's a lot to that too. But as far as we're concerned, man, we should not be participating in any of this shit. Straight up. And then we get emotional when we, look at who we want to point out as the culprit. We don't get mad at ourselves. We don't get, we don't check ourselves. We don't get emotional with us. We get, we want to blame everybody else. Stop that shit. Yeah. There's a phrase being bandied about, and it has a lot to do with us exhibiting these uncontrollable emotions. You know what I mean? With a lot of brothers, man, it's to anger and aggression. But there's another one I think is coming into play, man. Just a lot of damn whining and complaining too. Our sisters are now starting to display traits or behaviors of anger and aggression. No one is thinking. No one is thinking critically in terms of what's really going on in our communities, why we are being affected in this way. No one wants to get at any real thought. But damn, they could take a 30-minute piece of negative content off of YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and dissect it. They could write you a goddamn thesis on it. They did the ins and outs of that shit, but would not use that same brain power, man, mindset, man, to figure out how to beat these people, man, how to understand what they're doing to us and then use that to our advantage. Crazy work. CEO said, man, yes, it is their manufacturing, but our people are just falling for it without questioning anything because they are highly emotional with a false sense of pride. So they are being misled. I don't disagree. You're going to say, CEO, it's leaders being paid to promote it too. Let me finish reading that anyway. These these charismatic figures who grift for a paycheck and because social media sensations overnight. Okay, I read that correct, how you wrote it, but I get what you're saying. It's leaders being paid to promote it too, no doubt about that. These charismatic figures who grift for a paycheck and because social media sensations, and who want to become also social media sensations overnight. I agree with that as well. But we talked about this the other day, how you can go from the top and watch how this behavior trickles down. All right. And you got to look at it like this, man. When we talking about politicians, technically a lot of them think that they're our leaders. We elected them to go to Congress, to go to the halls of power and lead our causes for us, right? They're our mouthpieces. They're there to represent us, our leaders. They the number one sellouts. And we say this all the time, man. But that's just one echelon of that hierarchy, you know what I mean? That's just one, and then you got those underneath, when Brother Chris was talking about Beyonce, she's a part of this hierarchy, and hey, man, we're being sold down the river by individuals who got one thing in mind only, is to get paid to either keep their damn mouths shut or to lead us further into this, this pit, man. That's just it. That's what that is, man. They're not going to say jack about anything. And some are actually vying, like you remember being in class back in the day and the teacher asked a question, the answer to me, pick me. You got a lot of them. You got a whole bunch of them. They can't wait to become the next, like you say, sensation or viral it with no real message, no real leadership. I've asked this question of a lot of YouTubers, those we see all the time, every day, with the same poison, the same toxicity. They go in, like, share, comment, follow, and subscribe. Follow you where? Where you leading the people, man? Where you leading the people? And they are bold about it. They have the audacity to say, man, follow me. Follow me, man. Subscribe, but need to get me up to 100,000 followers. Where you leading them to? Where you taking them? They're the same as the politician. What are you doing for the people? How you getting them there? You're not. Same for the entertainer. Same for the athlete, or any of our so-called leaders who are necessarily in the politics or in the entertainment. Most of them, they picked for us anyway. But, where are you guys leading us, man? Where are we going? That's the saddest thing, man. The leaders, they're being paid to lead us nowhere. Or again, just into this pit. When lead us into this pit, man, they're going to cover us with dirt. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. And we got a lot of our people assisting them in it because they think it won't be them. When it ain't me. Ain't that kind of what we hear a lot of in the community? It ain't me. I don't give a fuck. Ain't got nothing to do with me. First thing out their mouths, man. Ain't got nothing to do with me. Shit, I'm getting paid. You still a ninja, man. You still a ninja. You just doing their dirty work as one. That's it. And that's what's sad, man. It's leaders being paid to promote it. This BS, man. These charismatic figures who grift for a paycheck. It's all a hustle to them, man. It's foul shit. Foul shit, man. Hot lead hurts. Yeah. I know that. Yeah. Personally, yeah. Hot lead hurts. Salute right back to you, man. You say salute, Bub, man. Appreciate you, bro. Salute right back to you. All right. Good to see you up in here, man. You know the business. I've seen you before in here. Glad to see you back. Atheist as fuck. I think that's what they're saying. All right. Keep respectful. I see you. I used to, I don't know, man. I was asked that. Well, I don't necessarily want to get on that, but yeah, I'm familiar with that. You say atheist as fuck. All right. CEO Gay Wood say, man, I'll send you some links. Please do. Yeah, put them in the chat for the brothers and sisters, our kings and queens. I'm pretty sure a lot of them want to go and check out what you're talking about. And I think that's what we do here. Yeah, we handing off gems and jewels, bro. We ain't dropping them. We don't hand them off, man. So hand that stuff off, man. I, for one, would appreciate it. Real spit. I would appreciate it. Darman said 100, man. Holla at her, said needs versus wants. That's the difference. That's the difference. And a lot of them don't even get that part. See, this is how deep in this stuff we become, or have allowed ourselves to be misled. Because there's no need. Just think about that, man. There's really no need, man, for a big old, what they call a Rolex link. Paulay diamonds, man. Big ass. These cats is wearing $50,000 watches, $100,000 watches, man. And the saddest part about that, man, these cats are renting space, leasing cars. If they got property, it's not even lived in. Don't want nobody else living in it. ain't furnished properly. It's not somewhere, where, a man, with his family would lay his head, protect it, provide, for it. Nah, they got all this shit on their wrists and on their necks and in their ears. Some of them in their grills, but they ain't got their family together, man, on a compound somewhere, lacing them, training them, preparing them. Sad shit. And then the majority of them still in the hood. Still in the hood, man. Still in the hood, man. Crazy work. Crazy work. Needs versus wants. That's what they wanted, though. Fat Rolex chain, man, bracelet, watch. That's what they wanted. Bypassing what their needs are, don't even know what their needs are, man. It's obvious, right? You have to look at it like that. It's obvious that these cats, these brothers and sisters, don't even know what their needs are. Can't even address their needs before they address their wants. And their wants are so, again, obvious, so apparent. That's sad, man. That's crazy work, man. That's crazy work, man. I mean, I hear, man. All right, I ain't gonna go there, man. But sisters are just as bad as brothers. Everything is a grift, man, and that grift it don't concern nothing but what they want. It's crazy work, man. Appreciate that, Haled. You going to say, man? Okay, watch your mouth now. Ninjas used to brag. Ninjas used to bag on you for not having the new shit in school. That's true. Back in the day, you couldn't wear like croaker sacks that was starting to fray. You couldn't wear Chucks where the heel on the bottom of them would, just look. I mean, you just couldn't, man. You couldn't wear a pair of tough skins jeans. I don't know if a lot of y'all remember those, rather than a pair of Levi's, and your khakis had to be Dickies. You couldn't have no fake tag on them, couldn't be red khakis. What I mean? There's a brand called Red Khaki, I think. Yeah. Just saying, man, a whole lot of shit, man, you get bagged on for. You feel like shit, but you gotta laugh long, or you gonna fight. You can't fight everybody. Cause most time, man, when in the moment, everybody bagging on you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Real spit, man. Yeah, real spit, man. Merced out. What's that? They daddy is Rap 100. I don't know what that means. Ali Free, what it do, love one? Hey, man, may everything be everything, bro. Good to see you up in here hanging out with us, loved one. West LA Coco, man. We just continue to teach and some will learn. That's all we do, bro. It's said that, each one teach one, each one reach one. That one is the magic number. You get that one, there's a high chance you'll get 10 more, or they will. You know what I mean? Or 10 more will result as a result of that one. That 10 is 100. Yeah, it's a process. Real spit. We just need to continue to teach as some will learn, Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Dharma said, man, right. We got to be accountable. Right. Don't even play. That's the whole part, man. And like I say it often enough. But I'm pretty sure when I said, I think the thought process is what a lot of our people is like, that Dr. Dre the Chronic, when he's talking about, man, we got to get it together. We got to bring dignity back there. And Dre said, ninja, you crazy, and they go into that cut. That's a classic, actually. But that's how I see that, man, right? And I'm saying, man, here's the reality. This is the reality. We got to fall back, man, from all this shit. And I know brothers, men, and sisters be like, ninja, is you crazy? How I'm going to pay my bills? How I'm going to feed my kids? How I'm going to get to work? And I'm like, damn, this missed the whole point. That missed the whole point. But again, that's something I think that creates fear in a lot of us. The fear of uncertainty. You know what I mean? So we did that. Let's say 20 million. Let's say we did that, no matter the number. The majority of them who do are going to be stressed out and in fear of what's going to happen to them because they don't pay bills. And it's been manufactured for us to think that if we don't pay bills, if we don't go to work for them, we will starve. Aren't we already? Aren't we already in poverty? Abject poverty, too, for a lot of us. I don't know. I'm about to say, what difference does it make? And I'm pretty sure there are some say, hey, man, something is better than nothing. You know what I mean? And this is why we see this participation continues. While people continue to participate in the system that they know damn well does not work for them, that is actually against them. Crazy shit, right? Crazy shit. So when Bub say, or when others who said it also say, man, we got to unplug, we got to fall back, not participate. There are millions of us saying, man, you lost your damn mind. I'm not going to be able to pay the note on this Benz, man, on this Beamer. They're going to come take this from me, man. I got this nice apartment, 2-bedroom apartment, man. They're going to put me out, evict me. No, man, how I'm going to eat? How I'm going to look fly, look good? Come on, man. I think that's the conversation. But it's the fear, I think, that's connected to that thought process, that if our people just said, nah, we cool, we done. People can't get over, what do you mean we're done? What am I going to do? So people are in fear, taking care of themselves. People are dependent. That's our problem as well. That's our problem, period, point blank. We've allowed ourselves to become dependent on the system, on those who built it. And again, if you know who built it, you already know that it wasn't built to improve us, to empower us, to make our lives better. It's the opposite. And yet, we depend on them. Now, that's the truth. That's the truth. Rather than go spend 10, 15, 20 racks on a Rolex chain or bracelet, you took that money and cultivated your backyard to a garden where you're growing your own food. But that's something they don't think they need. They don't want that, They don't need that, They need to stay in this game so that they can continue to live. Because without it, again, I think a lot of them think they'll die. That's some sad shit, man. That's some sad shit, man, for our people to think that way. To be in fear, releasing something we know is harmful. In fear of it. Of letting go of something that we know destroys us. That has been destroying us for centuries. That's some crazy stuff, right? Let's think about that. Crazy stuff, man. Henry Sedella, what it do, Henry, man? He said, peace and blessings, brother Bub, and the intelligent chat family. Real spit, bro. Good to see you here, man. Peace and prosperity to you and the fam, loved one. Darman said, man, wow, not thinking critically. Truth 101. That's the part. Again, anytime we would put wants, what we want over what we actually need, that means somebody, come on. Even if that's, hey, man, I need to make sure this bill does get paid, or I got to make sure I got enough to, if my baby gets sick, this co-pay or whatever it is, right? I got to make sure we need that. So I got to make sure that need is met over, man, I want to go to San Capistrano. I want to go to the Yucatan Peninsula. I want to take a flight. A lot of our people now are starting to fly to Europe. They're taking trips to Spain and shit like that. You know what I mean? I'm like, why? Why would you want to go to the UK, to Germany, to Italy? Why? Spain, I could kind of get if it's one of those sojourns or vacation where it's going to be a historical kickback too. You know what I mean? Let's go check out what the Moors did, right? Yeah, I can get with that. All that other shit, the hell I want to go. No, man. No. Our needs are not being met, man. And that's only because we're not thinking in terms of what our needs really are. We are thinking that our wants supersede everything. Our wants supersede everything. Our wants are more necessary than what our needs are. That's part of our problem. I'm just saying, dog. Appreciate you up in here, though, Henry. Good to see you, man. And Darmus, I appreciate that comment. Real spit. Hulan the Survivor. Welcome back, bro. Good to see you here. You say great topics. Spoke to one of my old homies and was surprised to hear our other homie is back behind bars for beating 2 people. It's crazy because he just touched down from a previous stretch up north. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? I was talking to a loved one today about how we, especially those who've been through this shit, man, how we tend to continue to take risk that we know ain't gonna turn out, that, well, the risk can actually go bad. There is a real risk at doing shit like what you're describing. There's a risk there and a consequence to that shit. It trips me out, man. Man, so-and-so back in jail. What? It is the what is more like, I ain't even talking about, well, what do he do? But like, what? That's incredible. Lo and behold, so-and-so back in jail. Like, damn, bro. You just leave us like that? You just drop everything, man, do some shit that ain't serving nothing, no purpose. You miss that shit that bad. You want to go back. You need to go back. You want to go back? You mean tell me, man, you couldn't find a way out of that? I tell y'all, man, I do. I've had to. Otherwise, they'd be like, man, did you hear? No, Bub back in jail. No, motherfucker. No. I'm to the point now where I pick and choose my battles, my wars. You know what I mean? And I'm serious about that. Times I'm like, all right, homie, you can have that. I'll let you have that because I know better for both of us. No, man, I need to be here, and there'd be times I had to keep telling, man, you need to be here. I don't want to be here. I need to be here, man, because this is where it's at. My family is here, man. My life is here. My mission is out here, and cats miss that shit. They miss them points. Again, we're not thinking critically. We're just out here, man. For every brother that goes back up in there who've been in there before, know what that is, y'all want to go back in that dungeon. That's really all that is. It's a dungeon. Something wrong, man. You're going to abandon not just what you're supposed to be doing, what you need to be doing, but all those who depend on you. And trust and know people depend on people. Look, even though a lot of us won't speak on it, we won't admit it. You know, we got this thing too about pride. You know, they say pride go before the fall, man. Get out of that, man. Get out of that mindset. You know, we need each other. Period, point blank. I don't just want you with me, man. I need you beside me, bro. Sis, we got work to do. You know what I mean? That makes sense. Because again, all we got to do is look around and say, oh shit, there's a lot to be done. We need to put in work. You know, I'm saying. I don't know, man. It's crazy, man. And especially older homies. It's like, damn, you missed that shit that bad? I ain't gonna talk about what you can't miss it that bad, man. And the way it's going on today, by all means, man, you want to miss that. But like in the real way, you know, in the man's way. Don't fold, don't buckle, don't tell, don't do day, man. Miss that shit. That's how you avoid all that shit. Just touchdown from a previous stretch. That's flash shit, man. That's crazy work. Chris said, man, instead of going to school to learn, it's a fashion show. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, man, that's crazy you say, hey, because that's something my mama would say. Boy, you ain't going to no fashion show. You think you're going to school to look good? In other words, you take your little black ass out there in them holy shoes or whatever, and you go get that education, you know. And I wasn't seeing it like that. Let's be quite frank about it, you know. Yeah, man. I wasn't looking at it like that. Man, shit. I know I was tired of that shit. Next thing hey, man, I got fresh chucks, crocus sacks, you know what I mean? Wallabies, Levi's, khakis. You know, hey, man, shit. Yeah, that's crazy work also. Nothing nice about that shit. But again, we weren't taught that, or maybe we just were. I think a lot of us were misled. School did become a fashion show. School was a fashion show for those who wanted that attention. You know what I'm saying? Because I also recall going to school back in the day. It was a lot of smart brothers and sisters. They was going to class, man. And them ones were smart. It made me want to be smart. I remember all the way from elementary to junior high, man. You know what I mean? And, you know, high school was, was a non-starter for me. Man, I was in jail. But, hey, man, I ain't going to lie, man. I used to, man, shoot, you could mess with the smart kids around me, man. Leave him alone. Shit. Yeah. Man, hell yeah. Merced out said pro wings. Yeah, pro wings, man. What you know? That's old shit. That before Chucks. I remember a shoe they had, and we got clown. They were brand new though. Me and my brother got them. It was a shoe called NBA. They kind of look like the Nike Cortezes now, but they was called, the brand was NBA. I'll never forget it. You know. And mom's like, oh, you gonna wear them? You gonna wear them? Mom's shit. You talk about pro kids, shit, bubble gums. That was, hey man, that was the worst. You wouldn't, man, come on, man. You wouldn't go to school. You did school, man. You know. You do some shit to them shoes to where they tear up quick. And your mom be like, where them shoes? What happened to that shoe? Oh, you know, they cheap shoes, you know. Man, we doing all kind of shit with them shoes, man. There wasn't no way we was wearing them bubble gums. But we did. You know, keep 100, man. Pro wings, NBAs, and bubble gums. Cold thing. All right, Fat Rat, I see you, loved one. Peace to you and the RGC, Big Bud. Right back to you, Fat Rat. Peace to you and the fam, immediate as well extended. All love and respect, loved one. All right, Antonio, I see you. Yeah, now that's cool for now. You know, I wanted to go back and drop this again. I don't know if any of you, I think a few of y'all heard what I played. I want to play that one more time. And it, you know, let me play this one more time. We're gonna go with this one first. This one first. Again, give me your opinion, man, if you got one. If you got an opinion, let me hear it. Let us hear it. All right, here you go. Check this out. Crazy work, man.
It's all in me. I'm every nigga. It's all in me. I'm every nigga. It's all in me. Still a nigga when you try to give him grace. Don't know why you even bother saving face. You can switch codes and change your clothes. New suit, new tie, won't fix your woes. Still a nigga when the casket closed. Still a nigga if you're young or old. You're still a nigga, you're still a nigga. I hate to say it, but the truth is golden. New money don't make it go away. You can act funny, but they show you till you play. Jay said it, you still don't get it. Jay said it, you still don't get it. You can be from the motherland, or you can be from some other land. It don't matter when you understand. You're still a nigga, you're still a nigga. I wanna be black in every lifetime. I wanna be black in every lifetime. May not be easy, but if I'm still breathing, I wanna be black in every lifetime. Still a nigga when you cross the stage. You learn and they try to keep you caged. Followed you when you try to turn the page. Only real niggas know how to keep from being raised. Still a nigga when the casket closed. Still a nigga if you're young or old. You're still a nigga, you're still a nigga. I hate to say it, but the truth is golden. New money don't make it go away. You can act funny, but they show you till you play. Jay said you still don't get it. Jay said you still don't get it. You can be from the motherland, or you can be from some other land. It don't matter if you understand. You're still a nigga, you're still a nigga. I wanna be black in every lifetime. I wanna be black in every lifetime. May not be easy, but if I'm still breathing, I wanna be black in every lifetime.
Man. Man. I don't know, man. I think that's fire. Lyrics were kind of small, man. If you were able to read the lyrics, you'd be like, oh, okay. Let me play this one too. Last one, y'all.
To protect my account, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm only a storyteller. The ancestors are speaking. Can you feel it? Something is shifting in the spiritual realm. A great awakening is happening across the globe. Black people everywhere are waking up from the amnesia they forced upon us. You're questioning everything now. The history they taught you feels wrong. The limitations they placed on you feel too small. The narratives they created are crumbling before your eyes. That's not coincidence. That's divine timing. Your ancestors prophesied this moment. They said a generation would come that would remember what they knew, that would break the chains of mental slavery, that would reclaim stolen truth and rise into power. That generation is you. Look around you. People are researching their true history, learning about Mansa Musa, the Moors, Black Wall Street, ancient African greatness. The lies are being exposed faster than they can cover them. Social media gave us what they tried to prevent, access to information they couldn't control. Now truth spreads like wildfire. One person learns, shares it, wakes up 10 more. Those 10 wake up 100. The awakening is exponential. They're scared. You can see it in how hard they're trying to ban books, control curriculum, silence voices. They know once you remember who you are, their power over you ends. The shift is happening in your spirit too. You're setting boundaries you never set before, choosing peace over chaos, demanding respect you used to beg for, walking away from what no longer serves you. You're stepping into your power, your purpose, your calling. And nothing can stop what the ancestors have set in motion. This is the beginning of our liberation, not just physical, but mental and spiritual. We're breaking generational curses, healing ancestral wounds, reclaiming stolen identities. The shift is here. The awakening is now. And you, beloved, are part of the prophesied generation. Press the plus sign to join the awakening. Hit follow to stay woke. Comment, I'm awake, to declare your shift. Share to wake up your people. Complete all 4 and watch your ancestors accelerate your awakening. They tried to make you forget the awakening was coming, but I am here to help you remember.
Yeah. All right, I just wanted to drop that on y'all, man, one more time. For those who didn't catch it. Yeah, I think that's some powerful shit. And again, for a lot of us, there is an awakening taking place, I think, more spiritual. And hopefully that leads to more of a mental awakening as well, mental freedom. You know, mental independence, man, you know, from this shit, man, that we caught up in. But yeah, that is, man. The part that get me on the song is I want to be black every lifetime. I can't get past that, man. That's some powerful shit to me. I can't get past that, man. I love the fact that she said it like that, you know. And then everything she attached to, you're still a ninja, you know. No matter what you think, you still that to them, you know. And then even for those who, you know, want to be that, man, you're playing a cold game. You're selling out to people, man. All right. Don't laugh, Chris. You had a pair of bubble gums. Yeah, you thought you got to Google them. Then you had a pair of bubble gums there. Bubble gums, man. All right, Hulana Survivor said, man, exactly who that is singing. She's been dealing with depression, extremely talented. Yeah, I tripped, man, and found out she does shows, you know, all over the country. She's going and, you know, and the shows are different than, or let's say concert even, are different than what we're used to seeing in terms of concert, you know, real simple setup. And but not only does she like sing her shit, but she talks to the audience as well. Totally different setup, you know what I mean? And I got to thinking like, damn, who's backing her or whatnot? And well, I only got so far as to find out, she does most of her own shit, you know what I mean? Now, who's putting up the bread or whatever, I can't say. But what they're saying is she's on her way. She got some more shit I checked out also yesterday. I'm like, all right, she's actually talented. Actually talented. I didn't catch the part about depression. But yeah, man, that's something we deal with too. Depression and anxiety. You know, this is where the shit is rigged, like I said, man. That's what we're up against, man. We're up against the bullshit, you know. All right, I see you up in there, Raymond Scott. You say tapping in, bud. Peace and blessings to you, man. Salute to the RGC. Black first. Appreciate your presence, bro. Real shit. Yeah, man. So this thing is it's real, man. What's happening is real. I was just talking to a brother today, and we were having a discussion in terms of our young ones, man. What's missing? What's missing? And it was thrown out there that maybe it's about morale. Maybe they have no morale, or that could be the problem. You know what I mean? And I can see that, man, because if most of us go and talk to them, we're not trying to give them morale. I don't think so. I think most of us are just trying to tell them what to do and how they ain't supposed to be doing 1, 2, and 3, A, B, and C, rather than fostering morale to giving them something to rally them. You know what I mean? Give them some understanding, have them understand, man. There's there's a good reason to want to live. You know what I mean? There's a good reason for that. There's a good reason for it. Oh, that brother whooping on that dude. That's a cracker too. I ain't mad at him. But yeah, man. So, that conversation I had with the brother was a good one. And I think, yeah, like him, him bringing that up, that's what's missing. That's what's missing. None of these brothers, some sisters as well, don't have any morale. And that's a problem, man. That will continue to be a problem. That will continue to be a problem. Oh, I need to show this one day. It'll take us back to the 70s. I think too, what's stealing or robbing our brothers of morale, man, is a lot of what's out there, right? I mean, because ain't none of that shit really inspiring, man. You want to inspire somebody, make somebody feel as though they got something to live for, man. There's something worthwhile, that they can have, bring to themselves in their life, man. I think, yeah, there's a void in terms of what these brothers and sisters are picking up, man. And actually, there's nothing worth picking up. There's in terms of communication, there's a void, and I think that's bad business. That's bad business. And I appreciate Love One, man, for having that conversation with you. And there's more of that I think we need in the communities, man. But again, we got to tap in. The right people got to start tapping into these young brothers and sisters so that they can receive that what we talked about today. And that's some real stuff, man. A lot of them, again, they're caught up. I don't know, man. I want to say they're caught up in just trying to survive, but I that's like damn near a lie. You know what I mean? That's a lie. I'd be lying if I said that like that. I think again, man, when I said earlier about telling the people, man, unplug, disconnect from a system that is more detrimental to you than it is beneficial for you. And their response, or what we can imagine their response would be or is one of fear. And I think that comes into play or is as a result of not being confident in what they can pull off. Not really understanding what their resilience is, where that oomph come from, that moxie, you know what I mean? So I think that's part of the thing too with our young brothers and sisters, man. It has to do, I think, with confidence. Ain't nobody got at them like they should, man, in terms of, hey, man, y'all, you can do what the hell. You can be way more than what you present yourself to be today, bro. Ain't nobody talking to them like that, Ain't nobody saying nothing. Ain't nobody giving them an alternative just to begin with in thought. You know what I mean? Just, you know, what you good at, man? You know, how you know, where you see yourself? Where would you want to see yourself in 5 years? Do you see yourself alive? You know, a conversation, man, that might get them to open up. We don't do that shit. We don't do that at all. So yeah, they're suffering as a result of no morale. You know, they ain't got no confidence, man, to do anything other than to hunt each other down or just hang out and be about nothing. That don't take confidence, bro. That does not take confidence, you know? Real shit. You know, real shit. And for real, if you really think about it, not just that, there's no fucking enthusiasm behind that shit. You don't see none of them cats enthusiastic as they should be. Young brothers supposed to be full of energy, man. You know, man, vibrant. You know, enthusiastic about living, about themselves, what they finna do in the world, man. How they gonna change it? You don't see none of that shit. Not from these brothers. Not from these brothers, man. You don't see none of that, bro. And that's what's sad. That's what's sad, man. You know? There's no confidence in them, man. They're not enthusiastic about living. A lot of them lack discipline. You know, a lot of them is a whole lot of shit connected to why they act the way they act. A lot of them are missing just the basics in terms of how to be a person, you know, a young man, let alone a man, you know. That's part of the problem, for real. For real. You know, a lack of morale, man. That's what they suffer from. The whole group, all of them. Because again, there's nothing. Come on, man. That's the shit they doing don't take nothing. It don't take nothing to do any of that. And this is why you see morale being absent in their demeanor and their character, you know, and how they get down, you know. You know. That whole group of them act that way. All of them lack it. That's some bad work, man. That's crazy work, man. That is crazy work. You know. We're gonna talk to these young brothers and sisters, like I said, man, as people, as persons, you know what I mean? As a person. Also. And go for the sisters too. The same shit. So, you know, that conversation with our brother, man, I don't have to, you know, that was a good conversation. It got me to thinking, yeah, man, that's part of the problem. And it just so happened when he brought that up, I had just left a couple of loved ones having just discussions about this very thing. This very thing, man, that was discussion for over an hour. I'm chopping up with my bros, man, about this very thing. And then bro called me on the highway back home freeway and just we started chopping up and that's boom. I'm like, damn. Coincidence? I think not. You know? I think not. Again, man, these cats ain't got none of what they need to have or anything that would indicate they have morale. You know? Just think about that shit, man. These cats aren't resilient. These man, I'm telling you, man, it's like, man, they are deteriorating from the inside out. There's nothing enthusiastic about them, man. You know? And then that's not taking a shot at them. You know, again, I think that's more, you know, we failed them or we are failing them. You know, how you gonna know about something, know better about something? How can you know? How can you do better if you don't know better? You know what I mean? And that's not to say all of them are like that. Let me hurry up and clarify that. But, I think it could be 50-50. How can you do better if you don't know better? You know what I'm saying? Who that song? For real. Who's that song? I don't know, man. These cats, man, they do a lot of shit that we couldn't do back in the day. Even as children. Wasn't no whining and complaining. Wasn't no apathy. Wasn't none of that shit, man. Man, our grown folks didn't have none of that. Wasn't having none of that. Real shit. They wasn't even trying to, boy, you crying? You complaining? I give you something to complain about. You couldn't walk around there. It's just a whole lot of shit you see with them, man. I've been around them. And I'm telling you, there's this sense of they're not there. You know what I mean? And that's just me watching, not trying to initiate any conversation, but me observing them. Disengaged. Like, hey, man. I couldn't wait to get around grown folks. I had questions. Shit, where you going, Uncle so and so, Auntie? Can I go? Shit. I started using their phrase, what you know good? Real spit, man. There's some real shit going on, y'all, and this is sad, man. This is crazy work, and it's scary. Again, man, we tend to want just discard them, man, and I'm telling you, that might be a mistake. That could very well be a mistake, man. And then, like I'm saying, man, I've said this many times, man. This is directed especially at those who resist the most. That's what we want to say. That's what we should be trying to, assist, support, help, save, the ones who need it most. Just saying, man. Just saying, man. So I appreciate that conversation, bro. You know who you are, It ain't nothing like having them. You know what I mean? I love that shit, man. I love that shit. Appreciate it. Hey, Fat Rat, I want to get your number from Poke if that's cool, bro. And tap in with I'm pretty sure I don't have it. Want to be able to give you a call, man. Just holler at you, man. So, when time permits, words of wisdom and advice, all that's good shit. You know what I mean? And give me a thumbs up if that's what's happening, bro. And I need to call Poke and Bo P anyway, man. He talked to him in a long time. I see you up in there, Poke. Yeah, Hulan the Survivor said, man. Okay, yeah, that's her name. Aaliyah Sheffield. She's gonna be all right. Yeah, I like her. Get down, man. The whole song, man. I want to be black every lifetime, man. It's some cold stuff. And the hook, come on, man. I don't know which is the hook or which is the title, man. But either or, they both like, fuck, give you something to think about, But for anybody to say and mean it, hey, man, if it's something after this and that, every time, man, I want to be black. It might not be easy, but I want to be black. That's some powerful shit. And then the other, hey, you're still a ninja. Even when you're off cold, you're supporting them. You're still a ninja. When the casket dropped to them, you still, no matter what you do, man, you still gonna be that to them. So stop being this suck up. Stop, cold thing, man. And she say, man, even the real ninjas find a way to not be brave. That's some cold shit. I think that's fire, man. Aaliyah Sheffield. All right. Fat Rat say, man, the missing ingredient is a thorough knowledge of self. We just mentioned that last night. Shit, Thursday night. Yeah. Knowledge of self, man. You know thyself. Know thyself. Fat Rat said the missing ingredient is a thorough knowledge of self. All right. Poke, man, he said, Big Bub, man, best podcast host of the year 2026, man. You always with it. Hey, man, right back to you, bro. I see you up in this Get Down with us. You say focus on the focus under the groove live, man. Fire. And top of it with a salute to the RGC, and I'll give y'all one as well, man. Appreciate you, Poke. Like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe to this Get Down. This is Under the Groove Podcast, and we are touching bases with the people. This is what we do. All right. Good to see you, though, Poke. How's your day, man? All right. All right. Fat Rat said, man, morale is how people feel. Morale is how people feel about their situation and their capacity to keep going. High morale means confidence, optimism, resilience, and willingness to cooperate and persist. Low morale means discouragement, all right? Apathy, cynicism, and withdrawal. And I'm telling y'all, I see the disengagement. I see the lack of resilience. I see the apathy, Again, that no enthusiasm. None of that shit that matters. You know what I mean? I see that shit. And I'm like, oh. And I'll tap another homie. Who that? Go get name, low one. Go to the site, just start chopping it up, man. And you see the spark, it's there. It's there. You get to talking to them about certain things. Yeah, it's there, man. But again, we're dropping the ball. We known for fumbling some shit, right? We've been fumbling, man. We didn't have fumbleitis for a long time, man. It's time. Stop fumbling, man. We got to stop fumbling. If we're gonna wake up, and if we're waking up now, we need to, hey, man, become fully awake and then start nudging and waking up others, man. But this shit is that serious, if you ask me. If you ask me, my opinion. Appreciate that, Fat Rat. Chris said it's also excitement. Yeah. Young people love excitement. Only time, and let me be quite frank, I've seen them agitated or excited or whatever is when they own something. Again, it when I see them in their natural state, I'm making it sound like I'm, some observer, some wildlife and shit, and I'm giving this, Anyway, when I see them like, that what you're saying, excited, because I know they own something, and the whole demeanor, it screams, I'm on something, super talkative, super lit, and I'm like, oh shit. I like to see that state in its natural form. You know what I'm saying, man? Not induced by, some narcotic, They love excitement when they own when they own something. I again, I don't know, man. Post say, Bub, why we can't represent Bub, why we can't represent our own selves, and instead of waiting on the Whitey Awards, why can't we give our own awards or flowers to our people? But we have been consistent on Black aspiration towards your B1s towards your B1s. It has been therapy to the ghetto, knowing that it's okay to be mad because it shall pass. But when we angry, it stays with you a while. And when it comes out, it takes us even further back. It's always a setback. That's well, one, sad to say, man, but damn, you saying what you said. When you said it, my mind immediately like, it's like, man, we can't do anything unless they condone it. You know what I mean? What we appraise or what we commemorate, what we applaud or whatever, is not something they want us to applaud or commemorate or to praise. You know what I mean? If they're not at the helm of it, then no, man, y'all can't be doing that. You know what I mean? It's I think for them, it's about control. It's about trying to always exercise or flex on us what they would rather see us, be awarded with, have, it's up to them in their minds. And hey, man, y'all ain't got sense enough to do none of this without us. You know what I mean? I think that's how they look at it. But shit, the fact of the matter is, man, when you look at shit, we've had opportunities, man, to change, the paradigm in that respect. Excuse me, where we could, if we did shit right, man, we could promote our own award shows, our own shit with our own channel, our own network. We had the wherewithal to do that. It was set up already. And people started selling shit off. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Why? Was it because they were told, no, we don't want y'all doing that? You'll do it on our platforms, on our format. We don't want that. We want to keep it all integrated. We don't want y'all segregating yourselves, and yet that's what they do often enough. They'll, I don't know, man. It's about control. They don't want us to have our own shit. But they have a fear that if that come to pass, that come to be, then somewhere in that we're gonna expose them. Excuse me, as though people ain't got enough sense to see them for who they are already. You know what I mean? You're trying to hide a lie, hide some fraudulent BS, man, that's already exposed. You know what I mean? Come on. I don't know, man. Yeah. We supposed to been doing all that, bro. All our stuff, man, anything that we had in terms of that type of get down, man, our people sold it off or squandered it. BET was that apparatus that could have hosted all, you name it. You know what I mean? How the hell they didn't see that? Or did they? And were told no. Again, no. I don't know. I don't know, bro. Yeah, man. I was talking to Cinder, man, about this very thing, man. That it's okay, man, to want to find out how to be better. You know what I mean? And we don't have to necessarily say, hey, man, I need therapy because I'm mentally up. ill with it. No, man, you just, hey, you might want to get to some shit, get to some understand, some therapy may be that avenue for you to reach, a point where you come to understand you. I don't know, Cinda is what she called herself, a mental hygienist, and that's her work. She sit down with people, and hey, she helps them, and this is all through discussion. Again, we grew up in the time where that shit was taboo. No, it was not okay to walk around mad and to be so messed up where you talking about, I need some help, any of that. That wasn't it. I remember my mama telling me as a kid, boy, you ain't got no business being mad. What you mad about? You ain't paying no bills. You ain't. Mom was cold with it. Mom was cold with it, man. But yeah, what the hell I got to be mad about? And that goes for even now as an adult. For any of us, what the hell we got to be mad about? Why do I have to be mad? Rather than, okay, I see what's happening. Let me handle that. What's being mad? Is that a waste of our time? Are we so mad and angry that we're stuck in our anger? We can't do nothing. Think about it, man. Anger is I think that's blockage. You keep something you ain't letting out, man. Be angry to such a point where you want to do something stupid, or where you ain't doing nothing at all. You just mad. That made no sense. But then there are a lot of issues for that. And I only mentioned Cinda because Cinda's mind for this type of shit. There's nothing. I think, man, there's nothing wrong with if you think you want to, find some type of service or support, then by all means you should. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's something wrong with individuals to allow themselves to be mad for whatever reason, man. When, I think that individual had a power, man, to not be mad. What am I mad about? I learned that shit in prison. This cold as shit was said to me, man, and it let me know something about myself. I was told, how can somebody have you mad? What the fuck you mean, man? Somebody, you making me mad now? How? I don't control your mind. I don't, you know what I mean? And the light went on, like boom. Like, whoa, no shit. How can I be mad? Cause this, man, that ain't my problem. I ain't got to be mad behind that. I was talking earlier about how, hey, man, I got to the point where I'll decide my wars. Hey, man, I ain't mad. Go on, man. You know that. Walk away. Fat Rat just said, man, it's about having a thorough understanding of self. And when that occurs, what the hell? What mad for what? Homie. You ain't got to tell him nothing. You ain't got to respond. You know why it's all good. You know why being mad about something that matters none shouldn't even be an issue. You know what I mean? You know that, hey, man, I control this shit here. I control. Nobody else control. Can't nobody make me mad, I remember saying that to somebody before. How can you say I made you mad? I don't fucking run you. I don't control your mind, your emotions. I don't. You control your emotions. You control your mind. That's how that shit supposed to work. But you can only do that if you know how you fucking supposed to work, how you should function, how you should be the master of self, Yeah, makes sense to me. Makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, man. I don't know if it's okay to be angry, but yeah, that's your prerogative. But what are you getting out of it? What are you getting out of it? I think that's the question. Okay, you can be mad all you want. What's it doing for you? You know, how's it assisting you? How's it improving you? How's it brought anything progressive, empowering to you that's going to, some, positive, going to help you throughout the course of your day, your life? I mean, come on, man. I don't know. Anger should pass. Anger should not, hey, man, there's a lot wrong with anger too, man, especially when you hold it inside, you got it. It's doing damage internally. It's another thing about that shit. And this is why we should control it. Poke, you said, yeah, man, anger, when we angry, it stays with you a while. And when it comes out, it takes us even further back. That's the truth. So why the hell are we angry? Yeah, send on here. Oh, okay, got you, fat rat. The absolutely was on getting, yep. Hear you loud and clear. Poke. Chris said, man, pills, young people are only pills, the same type of pills that caused Elvis Presley to drop out. Old school, old soul with a cold stroll in the house. Love and respect, loved one. In California. Fabric said, man, he shifts our giants to fame, fitting into their world as a star, killing the aspiration to build a world of our own. Jordan. Folks said, man, I feel Kev Mack deserve an award. The Postman, talking about Bobby Ye, I'm sure, etc. I'm just saying it's enough flowers to go around and to be inspired about. YouTube can never match what your people could do for you. And again, I think we're not even using YouTube to our abilities. I mean, to our benefit. To our benefit. YouTube, the apparatus, the platform, whatever, man, we're squandering an opportunity. I think, man, one of the greatest opportunities we could have had, man, to do some real shit, not damage to nobody. We ain't worried about that, but to create growth, to build. We're squandering that shit. And I'm telling you, that's man, you got to think about how this shit is set up, man. That is not by accident. That's not by accident, bro. Oh, so man, we normalize, get on air, we normalize getting on, I guess, in each other. I don't know. We normalize getting on air. So a lot of times we'll spend the rest of our life trauma bonding with of black folks in the community. Clean that up a little bit, also for me. And you sound like I butchered your words, man. I like that. Help a brother out. That right, said, man, you could choose anger. As for any action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Yeah. And again, man, anger is your choice. It's not for somebody else to choose for you. You know what I mean? As well as aggression. And again, those was what black men are using more than anything. That to us, to a lot of our brothers, man, is the end all, the beat all. The beat all to end all. You know what I mean? And that's so fucking, that's wrong, man. They even had that thought process wired like that. That don't mean nothing but, man, trouble. A whole lot of trouble, man. And again, just through observation, I'm seeing our sisters are becoming that way. I don't know if that's testosterone or what, but they are becoming angry and aggressive. I'm about to switch it up. I'm about to say, brothers are becoming more docile. Like, I don't know. Is it the food full of estrogen? I don't know. I'm being funny, facetious. But yeah, that is a problem though with our people, black men and women. A lot of anger and aggression being displayed, man, over some of the smallest shit too. What they call it now, crashing out over shit. We'll crash out. Like, all right, that ain't cool, man. We could be somewhere, my wife and I, man, children, but not nothing we ain't supposed to be in. But I could see a behavior and be like, all right, you gonna get ready to go in about 10 minutes, 15. That's how long it's gonna take for shit get out of hand, right? I'm already ready to go. Like, yeah, this ain't going anywhere. you know. And cats don't know how to control themselves. All right, trying to go. That's gonna be a problem for somebody. Or, all parties trying to go. Yeah, I like to think that brothers, man, we get to the point where we're controlling ourselves. We begin to think, and think critically, man, and think into past survival. Think in terms of elevation, think in terms of empowerment, shit like that. That's what I'm waiting on. That's what I like to see more of. That's what I like to see more of. All right. On that note, y'all, it's time, man. It's time. What I got for you? Let's get this thing like I like it. All right. Let me get rid of that. Game. All right. We're gonna go out on this, y'all. All love and respect. All right, man. It's time to go. All love and respect to each and every one of you. Love yourselves, man. Y'all know how to, man. Love yourselves, man. Love yourselves, man. That's gonna go a long way. It's gonna be a whole lot of people, man, gonna get a bar that don't know what it's about, man. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. RGC, catch you on tomorrow. All right. Powers in the people, y'all. You are, you have been, and you will be under the groove. Salute.